Hello and welcome to this episode at Creative Healing. I'm your Reiki master, Melanie Wild, and today I will not be offering you a Reiki treatment, but instead a little bit of my insight and perspective of who God is and what that means for the human race. This has always been a conversation or a topic of extreme interest to me ever since I was a little girl, and then more when I had my first funny cigarette as a teenager. Who and what are we, and why the fuck are we here? So, enjoy this short 15-minute episode. Thank you so much for being here and for offering your light and love to planet Earth. I love you and I hope you enjoy. Well, I've been doing some Bible study with my wife in the evenings after we put our little one to bed, and I just wanted to come on and talk about a little bit about what's been coming up for me as I am learning a lot and reading about Enki and Enlil and Anu, our um, gods from planet Nibiru, or also known as Planet X. Um, and then how the God and the Lord is depicted in the Bible. And I've been making some intersections between God in the Bible and Enki and Enlil and their thoughts. So Enki and Enlil are two Anunnaki brothers. So it's my belief as I'm putting pieces together that Enlil and the Lord or the God in the Bible, the Almighty God, are the same person. So you can use Enki and Enlil interchangeably. Or not Enki and Enlil, sorry. You can use God in the Bible and Enlil interchangeably. Like they're the same person. And Enlil and Enki are brothers, and their father is Anu. So Anu found, I'm not exactly sure yet how they discovered planet Earth, but I'm getting there in my research. But they came to planet Earth and discovered the gold on planet Earth. And the gold, because it like never loses its form, no matter how many times you heat it or melt it or reform it, it always stays in its same consistency as if it was brand new. So this gold is highly valuable in space technology. And so when they came to planet Earth and discovered the amount of gold here, they decided to put civilization on the Earth. So Anu gave the Earth to Enlil and Enki, and then together they decided to, with their advanced technology, create humanoids. And so that's where you get God created us in his image, because they used their DNA and their chromosomes, everything that makes them who they are. They mixed their genetic coding with the genetic coding from the primates that were found on planet Earth, that were living here organically, and they created this humanoid species that is us today. Then they used those humanoid species to mine the gold for them. So they used us as slaves. And then they built these civilizations all around the world. So when you look at ancient civilizations and where they land on the ley lines, like they're all very cohesive and lined up perfectly. And there's no way that ancient civilizations could have done that just on their own. They they would have had to have some sort of a aerial view of the Earth to line up these pyramid structures on specific, highly energetic, potent places. So there's all of this stuff that's coming out. I mean, it has been coming out for years and years, as they've been unearthing the Sumerian tablets. So I have a whole lot of beliefs around the Sumerian tablets and like why Iraq is so full of war, and like they clearly don't want us to go there, because this is literally the foundation of where humanity started, was in Iraq. or the Garden of Eden as depicted in the Bible. Now, I really wanted to come on here to talk about what I think God is. So, I think that we call the God in the Bible God because Enlil, who is that God, made us in his likeness using like CRISPR technology. That like this technology is now available to modern man. And so you can't say that alien species from off planets didn't have access to this technology well before we did. And it's now proven scientifically that we can literally clone people and create new beings out of DNA and like nothing else. So they've been doing this. So where the confusion happens in the Bible, and I think a lot of religion in general, is when they talk about their God, it's that Enlil came and he had great authority over the earth. And when his slaves started to rebel, that obviously made him really mad. And this loss of control. And then there was this other thing of like the slaves, the humans that he made, were irritating to him. Like he just saw us as cattle and like this inconvenient, like we were eaters, we're taking up space, and we kept breeding and multiplying. And it was causing him a lot of havoc. So he coined himself as the only God because he wanted all of his rules to be followed. He didn't want Earth to get out of hand and become overpopulated to a point where he becomes like, I just watched Bug's Life with my little one, where he becomes Hopper in A Bug's Life, and like he's this big grasshopper who is very well aware that the ants that he's enslaved could outnumber him and could overpower him should they realize that they have the upper hand. And so then he was like, you know what? We're going to start over. And so using weather modification technology, which is now available in modern day to modern day men, like this technology has always existed and it's been hidden very well. He created a great flood, right? And so this flood was his way of like wiping out and starting over to make it better. And then you get the story of Noah and the ark, and then Enki really comes in, and Enki really likes humans and holds a lot of empathy. And so Enki comes and just tells Noah, you know, we're gonna build this ark. You're gonna build this ark so that we can genetically store all of the genetic codes for life on planet Earth so we can rebuild after the flood. And so I would like to challenge you. Did Noah build a boat? Did Noah build a boat, or did Noah build a spacecraft? And did Noah load that ark with physical animals, or did that ark hold a refrigeration system that held the chromosomes and the DNA structures and cellular codes to recreate life on planet Earth? So there's like all these different ways that you can come at it and look. But okay, sorry, I'm getting off track again. I really want to talk about who I think the real God is, who the creator is, who what like all of life comes from, not just planet Earth. So I believe the God in the Bible is Enlil. I believe that the Lord Almighty God is Enlil. So he is a brother of Enki and the son of Anu, who found planet Earth from their home planet, Nibiru, also known to astrologers today as Planet X. And so what created them, right? What created all of the planets? What created all of us? And so this is where we have this conversation of who the real God is, the big God, the creator of all life. And who I think that is love. And like as silly and cliche as that sounds, is when I guide my clients and when I guide myself to God, back to home, I guide us to like a sea of white light. And in this sea of white light is pure love. So when you enter this space, you become the space itself, you become love, you become light. And so you are removed from the body, you are removed from being external piece of the puzzle, and you are put back into the heart of all love. And that's what I believe I channel when I channel Reiki or universal life force energy, is that I'm channeling this pure love. And so I was trying to explain this to my wife the other night. And so I came up with this analogy to make it make a little bit more sense. Because she's like, well, what's the point? Like, if we all come from this beautiful space of pure love where there is nothing but love and held acceptance, why leave? Right? And so the analogy that I gave her was like, okay, take like, imagine God or the universe or the entirety of all creation is in human form. Okay, so just imagine that it is a human, and the God, the center of the soul, is in the heart. So if we all start in the heart, and the heart's job goes bup 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 bup, and it beats us out throughout these veins, right? And then so you imagine you're just this tiny, not even a blood cell, but like smaller. You're just this tiny little speck of love within the heart, this frequency or movement or energy. And as you beat out within that blood cell and you move out, so that you can reach, so I think what God is trying to do, like the creator of all, I think is trying to get a really good understanding of who they are, right? Like, what am I? What am I made of? And the only way to figure out what you're made of and who you are is to go to the most deepest, outwardest corners of yourself and then come back with that information. So he sends us out as these little sparks of love, sparks of divine unity and acceptance of all. And we move out through this blood system. And I think the point is to get as far away from the source, from the heart as possible. And then you can collect the knowledge and the wisdom that you learn. Like, I made it all the way to the toe. And this is what it was like to be a toe, right? This is what it was like. And then I got stuck. And this is why I think a lot of people have a lot of reincarnation or reoccurring lives, is because you get so far away that you forget where you came from. And so in finding the heart and coming back to the source of the all, we get lost. And then we have to keep going until we can find our way back. And there's no one that's going to help guide us back except through our own hearts, right? Our hearts are connected to the heart, to the source of the all. And so I think a lot of people, so then she was like, well, if we're all made from good and we're all made from light, she asks me, we're all made from this goodness, then why is there so much evil? Why is there so many people that are choosing to do bad things? And I'm like, well, that's a great question, because I think that not only are we the microscopic point of love within the blood cell, but we are the whole body. So then you go and you think of like these beings, these parts of the all that get lost and get stuck, and then all of a sudden they've absorbed into the rest of the body, and they're no longer in this smooth stream of blood that's moving us kindly back, but now they've been absorbed into the structure of the whole. And so maybe they get stuck into karma loops, and maybe they end up becoming the cancer in the body, right? And maybe that cancer, that darkness, then turns their point of view into, oh, we must spread, right? And so then you imagine this like black vein moving towards these veins to stop the flow of blood back to the heart, and then they become this darkness and they forget their purpose. And so that's where we get cancers, and that's where we get stuck. And then say, so now there's this cancer coming and it blocks the vein, and you're way down in the big toe, and there's this cancer in the foot and you can't make your way back. And now the point to remove the cancer, well, we gotta love it, right? Because the only way back is through love. And so I think that's why, and what God is doing, is that God in itself is a being. What that being physically looks like, I don't know. I have no idea. And I don't know that that being really knows what they look like either. But the way that I come home to God, the way that I feel in this pure love, is that when I'm in my meditations and I'm going to the sea of white light, there is nothing but love. And I think that as we move through life and all of these different incarnations that we live, the grand lesson here is to get to know yourself so that you can know your God. The more you know you, the more you'll know your God. And the more you return to your heart and the more that you witness others on their journey back to God, the more that we will all come back and we will all have this sense of love and peace in our souls. So, yeah, this is what I think God is. And this is what I channel when I channel Reiki, is that pure love. Yeah, so just a quick little impromptu of who I think God is and what I think the meaning of life is, and a little bit into my Bible studies. So I hope this leaves you with some foresight, and I'm curious. I want to know if you're watching the replay or if you're listening on Spotify. Write me a note, send me a DM, leave it in the comments about who you think God is. What is God to you? What does that mean? And does the word God trigger you? Sending you so much love, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.